Hi there, Aquaba, and welcome. Today, I'm so excited to share how I make my perfect goat meat jollof rice every time. It's flavorful, satisfying, and so good. So join me and let's get started. Okay, so as usual, we'll begin by steaming our goat meat. And here, my goat meat is thoroughly washed and chopped to my preferred sizes. I added in a blended mix of onion, garlic, ginger, a little bit of water here, and then some salt to taste, as well as some beef seasoning. Now we will give it a good mix to combine, and here is a pro tip: have some warm water ready as the goat meat takes quite a while to tenderize and the warm water will help it along the way. Just add enough water to the pot until the goat meat is tender and nice. Additionally, you can use any seasonings of choice for your preferred taste, so we'll cook this on medium heat until the goat meat is ready. And here we are. I barely have any moisture left. That would have been great to add to the stew for the jollof, but as you can see in the background also, I have my oil heating up to fry the goat meat here shortly. I cannot wait to see how it turns out. So carefully, I will add the goat meat to the heated oil and we'll fry it until it's darkened but not burned. This step brings out an incredible depth of flavor, but feel free to skip it if you're watching your oil intake. The goat meat is now perfectly cooked, so it's time to carefully remove it from the oil. Place it in something that will help drain any excess oil, and once done, set the meat aside for now and we will move on to the next step. So here in the blender, I have some chopped tomatoes. To that, I will add some chopped red bell peppers and we'll blend them until they're completely smooth. Next, I'll cook my blended mix separately before starting the stew. This step is totally optional, but it saves time and helps prevent the stew from splashing everywhere, which often happens if you add them directly to the stew. Now let's start making the stew. Into the heated oil, I added a blended mix of onions, garlic, and peppers. Give it a good stir and we'll let it fry on medium heat for a few minutes here to allow the flavors to meld beautifully. After frying the onion, garlic, and pepper mix for a few minutes here, it's time to add our tomato paste. So we'll then give it a good mix to combine with the fried blend. Let it cook on medium heat, remembering to stir occasionally. So this will also help reduce the raw taste and deepen the flavor. This step is key to building a rich, flavorful base for our jollof rice. And once the tomato paste is nicely fried, it's time to add the cooked tomato and red bell pepper mix. Pour it in, stir everything together until it's well combined. Now I also added in some curry powder for an extra layer of aroma and richness, and let it cook for a few more minutes, remembering to stir occasionally. Okay, so now back to check on the stew. It's coming along beautifully. So this is the perfect time to also add in your seasonings. I'm adding some jollof seasoning here, beef seasoning, and some salt to taste. We'll give it a good mix to combine and let it cook for a few more minutes until the stew darkens and develops that rich color we want for our jollof rice. Once the stew is ready, it's time to add your rice. I'm using Jasmine rice, but you can use any type you prefer. And just make sure that the rice is not more than the stew, as that could make your jollof rice blend. And now add a bit of water, but not too much if you want the perfect texture. Just adjust based on your preference. So I'll be using a foil to cover the pot to trap the heat, which will help the rice cook without needing too much water. If you don't have foil, you can use a parchment paper or a clean napkin. Also taste and adjust your seasonings as needed. So we'll cook it for a few minutes, then we'll check back later. Back to check on the rice, and it's been about 15 minutes. I'm going to give it a gentle stir to ensure it's cooking evenly, and if you notice the rice needs more moisture, you can sprinkle in a bit of hot water mixed with salt, but do it gradually to avoid overdoing it. Once done, reduce the heat to low and let the rice continue cooking for another 15 to 20 minutes until it's perfectly done. This step is optional, but I'm going to stir fry some veggies to add to the jollof rice once it's ready. I'll cook them just until they are slightly soft but still have a nice crunch for that perfect texture. The jollof rice is now at the perfect texture, so I'll go ahead and add the stir-fried vegetables and the goat meat. So we'll gently combine everything to mix well, then cover the pot to let all the flavors meld together beautifully. Just for a few more minutes here, and it should be ready to serve. And friends, that's how I make my goat meat jollof rice. It's pretty easy and straight to the point. I hope if you enjoyed watching it and found the video helpful, please give me a thumbs up. Let me know if you have any questions, and remember to subscribe if you haven't done so yet. Thank you, and until next time, stay safe and blessed always.